Hey Tuto girls, for today's activity, we're going to make a bird collage. And in order to make our collage, we're going to need a pair of scissors, a stick of glue, some different colored paint, a few markers, and let's go. More precisely, we're going to need one large piece of paper to protect our table, 2 sheets of paper, one to draw our birds and the other for its background, 1 pair of scissors to cut out our birds, a stick of glue, some markers, some paintbrushes to paint the background, 1 paint palette to put in the colors of our paints inside of it, and 1 pot of water to rinse our paintbrushes. So I'm going to take my first piece of paper here, and it's going to be the background for our birds. So I'm putting it on top of my workstation paper to protect my desk, and we're going to take a paintbrush, a pretty thick one, and paint the entire background of our piece of paper. So I'm going to make my background light blue, like the color of the sky. So in order to make a light blue, since I don't have one in my paint set, I'm going to take a little bit of white and mix it with a little bit of dark blue paint. So basically, when we mix these 2 paints together, it'll make light blue. So I'm going to take a slightly smaller paintbrush and just mix them. And you can hold your paint dispenser palette and just mix, mix, mix. And look, we're making light blue. And there's tons of different color mixes you can do to make other colors as well. Great, so I'm just wiping off my, and I'm gonna take my big paintbrush, and I'm not gonna add too much water, so just a little bit of water, and then just start painting back and forth. If you add a little bit too much water, what's gonna happen is that the sides of the paper will curl up. So just the right amount will do the trick. And look at that light blue that we just made. It looks really nice and bright, like a perfect sunny sky. A nice little place for our chirping birds to live. Okay. Keep going, guys. Yeah. The birds are going to be really happy here. Look how nice it is out. We have a little bird family here. We're going to have 4 birds all together. 3 adult birds and 1 little baby bird of all different colors. Because you can find so many different kind of birds in the world, all different colors, like red-breasted robins and blue jays. I think my birds are going to be really bright colors to contrast with the blue. Perfect. So now that we're done with our background, we're going to put it aside so it can dry. Rinse my paintbrushes, and now we're going to take our second sheet of paper where we're going to start drawing our birds. So take your pencil, make sure it's nice and sharp, and we're going to draw the shapes of our 4 birds. So to do that, start at the top left. Leave some room for your side on the left, and it's going to be almost like a water drop shape. So start at the top, and you're going to kind of curve down like that, and then you're going to swoop it back up to make like a teardrop. And we're going to do that 4 times. So basically draw 4 big teardrops with 1 that's going to be slightly smaller, which will be the baby bird. Just like that. It almost looks like a little thought bubble, doesn't it? Perfect. So now we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut out the shapes of our birds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And don't worry, guys, if your teardrops don't look perfectly smooth like these ones, you can always just cut into the shape that you like. There's no right or wrong answer here, as long as you're happy with what your bird looks like. So I'm just following along here. My little bird family. Nice. I know the curvy parts are kind of hard to snip around. So you can take your time, no problem. We have all the time in the world. Up and around. And you're going to see the wings, we're going to draw them into the bodies. Great. So we've cut our first bird out, and we're going to put him on the side. Now we can cut our second bird. Great, so I'm just going to cut this one out here. It'll be a little bit easier. And make squares for all my birds. It'll make the cutting much more simple. All right. Remember, guys, as long as you're having fun, the shape is really however you want it to look. So I'm snipping here. If you want to make the tail a little bit pointier, it doesn't have to match your drawing exactly. Remember, be careful with your fingers. Keep them far away from the snipping point. See here, I'm not following the drawing completely. Just as best as I can. Perfect. So I'm just putting my done birds up here on the side. And here you can see I got the baby one and then my adult one on the right. And then my teeny tiny baby one. So it's really going to be like a family. So I'm going to make them all different kinds of colors. My little baby I'm going to make yellow, like a tiny little baby chick. My second one I'm going to make him red. My third one I'm going to make her green. And my fourth one is going to be pink. So even if you guys don't have that many colors at home, you can mix them to make new ones. And they don't all have to be the same color. You can really have fun. There's no right answer here. Okay, great. So now we're going to take all of our birds in our bird family and line them up so we can start painting and decorating them. I'm just flipping them over here so that the pencil doesn't show. And I'm going to place them onto my blue background in 4 different corners. So basically, in order to decorate them, we're going to use 4 different colors. So I'm going to grab my paintbrush, rinse it. There's probably some blue left over from the background that we painted before. And just push it up on the side so the blue gets off. Patting it on the side to get all the color out. And now I'm going to make my little baby one yellow. So I'm taking some of this yellow paint here, nice and bright like the sun. Put your little baby aside. And then just dab him down with the paint while your finger is holding down. Look how cute he is. Okay, great. Putting him on the side so he can dry. I'm taking my next little bird here, who's a little bit bigger than the baby. Maybe it's his sister, maybe it's his brother. Let's see. I'm gonna just dab my little paint off. I'm gonna make him red, I think. Perfect, so get some of that paint on. I think this will be the baby bird's mom. Great, so just get it all over. Pop him off to the side so she can dry. Now we have a slightly smaller one, which I'm going to make green. And I think this bird is going to be the younger brother. So I'm just dabbing my paintbrush onto the bottom of my cup so I can get all of the paint off of the bristles. Dab it into my paint here. And then start brushing it. I'm just going to move my finger a little bit. Even if you get paint on your fingers, don't worry, you guys. You can just rinse it right off afterwards. I'm going to take my towel, actually, and rinse them now, because I don't want to get paint on my 4th bird. Perfect. If you don't have a towel next to you, don't worry. You can use paper towel or a little tissue. Okay, So for my final bird, I'm going to rinse my paintbrush and I'm going to make him hot pink. I guess it's a her, actually. So let's grab our brushes. I wonder if a hot pink bird really does exist in real life. Okay, so we're going to take our bird and just swipe the paint right over it. Use your finger to hold the piece of paper down. Oh, I got a little blue on there. You can just wipe it right on top with your paintbrush. Great, so now our 4 birds are sitting over to dry, and we're going to place them on our background. So let me think about how I want to place them. I think I'm going to put my red and my yellow one right up top here, and my green and my pink one right on the bottom. Looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 electric lines, basically where the birds are going to be sitting. So I don't know if you've seen on the street, you'll see kind of those electric lines, and they're going to be little birds standing on them. So I'm going to make sure that my line, just drawing it with my black magic marker, right across as straight as I can. So this is where my birds are going to be sitting. And then my second line right under my birds, all the way to the end. Perfect. So now we're going to take our glue once we're happy with where our birds are sitting. And I'm going to start sticking my first 2 up here. So take your glue, flip your bird over, get your glue out of there. Gets a little dried up, doesn't it, after a few days? And we're going to put it all along the back side. And I'm going to remove it from my background because I don't want any red paint to get on the blue background. So just take it off of your workstation, rub the glue, flip it over, and place it exactly where you want your bird to sit, right on top of that black line that we just drew across the paper. Perfect. So same thing for our little yellow guy. Let's take him off of the workstation. Add a little bit of glue to his back. Perfect. Make sure to get the edges as well. Flip him over, and let's place him right on the black line. Not too far from his mom. His mom wants to keep a close eye on him. Great. So now our green bird, the brother. Perfect. Try not to get too much on your fingers or else you're going to be sticky all day. And pop him right on top of that line. And press. Don't slide your fingers too much on him or else you'll get paint all over your hands. Okay. Last little pink one. And we're going to place him and pat him. Great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make some faces because these birds pretty much just have bodies right now. So take your black magic marker. What we're going to do is we're going to make little eyes and a beak. So let's take our red one first, the mom. So just draw a little bit of a triangle here that you're going to color in. I like to draw the shape first and then color in the shape. So there's our beak. And then take your marker. Black is good because it comes out. And draw a little spot about 1 inch away from the beak to make your bird's eye. So making a slightly smaller beak on my baby bird. So draw like a pointy triangle and color it in. Another beak for my pink bird. So a little pointy triangle and you color it in. And then the last one on my green bird. So remember, all the beaks can be a little bit different since all birds are slightly different. They're different colors, different shapes. They have different kinds of feathers. And then we're going to draw a little black spot for the rest of our birds so they have eyes. Now we need to make them some feet. So I'm pretty much just taking a little bit of a line here and then making tiny little feet. So 1 line down, 3 little feet. 1 line down, 3 little feet. So basically right under where his eye is. And you can have the little hands and feet, they need to basically hold on to the wire so the birds don't fall off, if they don't know how to fly yet. Okay, great. So now we're going to work on the feathers and on the wings. So I'm going to use a little bit of paint here, of yellow paint. I'm going to first take my red one and basically just paint straight down through his body some feathers. Look at that. Got nice yellow wings on his red body. Here we're not going to use yellow because his body's already yellow. So I'm just going to rinse my paintbrush. I'm going to put in some red on the little baby. So the mom has yellow wings and the bird has red wings. So they're like perfect opposites. Perfect. Great. So now for our pink bird, I'm going to add a little bit of purple here into my palette. Take my clean paintbrush that I've just added some water to. Not too much water. I'm going to put some purple feathers on my pink bird, because I love pink and purple together. I think it looks really pretty. Perfect. So just drip it right down, straight lines, and the feathers are really going to come out. So for our green bird, for the little brother, I'm going to add some dark blue. So remember that to make dark blue, you can actually take our light blue and add a little bit of the dark blue paint to make it just a touch darker. You can also add black. I'm just drawing right across here to make him his little feathers. And there's no rule for the feathers. You know, feathers can always look a little bit different, but usually, you know, try and stay within and make him a little tail. And I think for the pink one, I want to make him a little tail as well. Because as we know, there's lots of different kinds of bird species. And just pass it right out of there. I'm making these tails kind of short, but you can make them long. And there we go, you guys. Great job. So, Tuto girls, here's our gorgeous bird collage. I hope you had a really fun time making it today and that you're happy with how your birds turned out. I'd love to see your artwork, so please send in a picture to me on tutokid.com. Hope to see you soon!